Okay, it looks like people are starting to gather, so I will get us started here. My name is Greg Schoenberg. I'm from Litquake. I'd like to thank everybody for staying in, I guess, this year for Lit Crawl and joining us. We really appreciate your time. Super excited to have the Racket here for us with a great lineup tonight. This is the final night of Litquake. It's been a very strange year, but it's been fun nonetheless. This is our last night of a 10-day festival. It's a couple hours left. We do go till 10:30 tonight if you care to join. A couple other events left after this one. And the festival is a nonprofit. Almost everything we do is 100% free to our audience. We'd love to keep it that way, and we would love to be back on the streets next year. So if anyone is able to make a donation, every dollar helps. So you can hit us up at Venmo. We're at Litquake, PayPal. We are info@litquake.org, or you can just go right to litquake.org, our website. And then one more thing before we get started. After the event, you'll have a short survey pop up on your screen. You can fill that out. Another huge help to us, really helps us with our grants, our fundraising. So that's it. I hope everybody enjoys the show and get ready for the Racket.
Hello, everybody. My name is Noah Sanders. I'm the host of the Racket reading series. You are at Lit Crawl, the virtual version. I'm sorry that you're not drunk and stumbling through the streets of San Francisco right now, but I hope you're drunk and stumbling around your house right now because it could work. It's less dangerous, probably. We are here tonight for the Racket reading series, Lit Crawl edition. Our theme this evening is the fall. We have a wonderful selection of readers this evening. Just a brief mention, the Racket, we're a reading series. We do it virtually every week. We put out a journal once a week as well. If you're interested, www.theracketsf.com. Thank you so much. We're gonna jump right into it because we have a very short amount of time. We don't do traditional bios. All of these people do good reading, good things. They've written many things. You can go online and find those things. I highly recommend you do at a different time. I ask a question, they answer said question. I'm going to read the answers to that question, which is, describe the ground you're standing on. Our first reader this evening, Christine No. Christine No writes, thanks Radiohead. And now I'm going to try and say a Radiohead lyric. It's funny. You know where you are with floor collapsing, falling, bouncing back, and one day I'm gonna grow wings. A chemical reaction, you know where you are. Hysterical and useless, you know where you are. Hysterical and let down and hanging around, crushed like a bug in the ground, let down and hanging around. Please welcome Christine No.
Hey guys! After that really depressing lyric. Playing that like non-stop lately, by the way. All right, stop yammering. We got 5 minutes. All right. I have 3 pieces for you. The first one's called End of Lease. These are kind of old, like years old, so enjoy. End of Lease. A whole year gone by. On the anniversary of the death of us, I crushed myself like a pill bug. Laughable armor, but brave still. And slept forever, or wished I did. The dog curled my small concavity. The sun is out now. They say spring is here, and I was born 2 days ago. Finally, reason to unfurl. Imagine that. My body, a celebration, hasty, an acceptance. The days grow long, and I was born 2 days ago. Lighter, practically afloat, winter shed, ache and bone extracted of you. Today is Monday, and I was born 2 days ago. I feel I should apologize, but what for? This is called quantum entanglement. The world has destroyed itself, readjusted countless times. Here we are, regardless, intertwined, particulate, quantum maniacal. I have much to face that I haven't, don't want to make plans or promises. What I know, I wait, gathered, taught while you sleep. Open a window, your door will slam. When I become light, so will you. I will burst into tears unexpectedly. What I don't, whether you are my ghost or I yours, whether the heart breaks on the in-breath or the out. Those, and let's see. I have this one piece I want to read you guys. It's called The Story, and it's kind of a work in progress, but I came across it and I was like, I'm gonna share. Sweet. This is called The Story. Forgive me, dear you, for I have sinned. I know you know this. Already it is written on your face. I've left a note on the mirror to remind us that this is no singular occurrence, just my turn this time. We moved in plain sight of one another as cause and effect does. You slammed the door. I broke a vase. You broke my heart. I kissed a stranger. Two culprits pried apart, Frankensteined, backs bent by clumsy hands, seeking solace elsewhere so foolishly. Perhaps the right story will soothe the guilt and teeth, mouths wide, mute with grief. Perhaps the right story to swallow or spit, one where the door props open, the vase holds flowers, a breeze through the hall, and we're dancing slow. I have turned myself inside out, writing reason for the keys at my door with no goodbye, a story to quiet the maddening, I love you, I hate you, I know how to hurt you. A story as bridge, as bed, as between battle, where we met in quiet armistice and never remembered again. A story for the time I quit and you breathed for the both of us. A story on its hands and knees, under the crawl space of reason, beneath the hair and dirt, unearthing these most prescient words. The true story, if you believe me. I would move with my heart again, slowly this time, sober, up and over the wall, into your body and mine, offered and consumed, more tenderly bound. I would remove our head, paint it broad strokes of mourning, pour the night out for later. Headless creature, 8 arms, all heart, no divisive intelligence, ecstatic bodies swaying, home, that lonely, disfigured paradise. Yes, that is the story worth telling. How we fought upstream, thrashed and broken still, how we beat on past the current, why we kept going, what we found. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christine. Wonderful. Next up, we have Halim Mahdi. Halim writes about the ground that Halim is standing on. Chumash territory, once the land of a people who made beads, maybe kissed the ground, maybe looked out to a horizon as of yet unobstructed, as of now non-existent. The time between my body and theirs, a space turned stone, turned towers and walls. As of now, Laura Ashley, Mr. Jones, dove gray, porcelain floor tile, 13 by 13 inches. Please welcome Halim Mahdi.
Thank you, Noah. And thank you for helping me get on. This piece is called What Song Do You Listen To When You Want to Remember a Certain Time in Your Life? And I'm gonna play a tiny bit of music as I share this with you. April 19th, 1995. Tim McVie parks a rented Ryder truck loaded with 1 ton of nitrate ammonium in front of the Alfred P. Mura Federal Building in downtown Oklahoma City and ignites a timed fuse. At 9:04 a.m., the surrounding area looks like a war zone. A third of the buildings are reduced to rubble, floors flattened like pancakes, dozens of cars incinerated, over 300 nearby buildings damaged or destroyed. August 4th, 2020, a container with 2,700 tons of ammonium nitrate enclosed explodes in the port of Beirut, my city. Do the math. The glass of 1,000 buildings binding in its frame. 1 million windows breaking free. Glass, a metaphor for a torn nation searching for its seams stuffed. Grape leaves, wara anab, my grandma's specialty. Leaves bulging at the hem. Teta, we used to ask, why do they taste different every time? And have you been skimping on the meat? And can we ever demand consistency? That at least misery should come in a single flavor. Where do I file this complaint? The Department of Plagues, the Ministry of Curses, glass, a metaphor for transparency. a careful exercise in keeping things at bay, a city bursting at the irony, cutting rebels loose, unsure which of two hymns to hum now. The one you're listening to, Li Beirut, meaning to Beirut, sung by the grief-struck voice of Feiruz, kissing the forehead of Beirut's rocks, the ribs of its houses eating the sweat-soaked bread of its people, picking flowers blooming in the slit of a wound left in the throat of a teen, watered by the tears of their mother, mourning a glory made of ashes. Another song. This one. Beirut Sitt al-Dunya, meaning Beirut, Lady of the World, carried by Majid al-Rumi, an accusation borrowing the voice of the perpetrators, a girl's finger pointed at the nations whose envy fed the wars that fed on our city, a dagger where we thought we'd find a rose, an invitation to rise from the rubble like a revolution born from the womb of sadnesses. Mama, mother, you sang the first one often, the second during bombings and assassinations. Feiruz, the chronic voice of grief. Majida, the acute screech of indignation. Both voices blasting the kitchen windows where Teta, grandma, folds the grape leaf over the filling, rolls, keeps stucking the left and right sides until every grain is contained. This container, nitrate, ammonium, outdid every war we've known. Tonight, my city is alone in the night, one with the night. The bed you tucked me into, covered in shards. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Iliam. That was wonderful. And next up, we have Rohan Dacosta. Rohan writes, in terms of describing the ground he walks upon, steady as my mother's stair, solid like the path that my grandmother's laid before me, shifty like tectonic plates beneath MLK Jr. Way, Martin Luther King Jr. Way, like saucers on poles, ever spinning and changing hands, once upon a time and still a lone land. Please welcome Rohan Dacosta.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the fall. As in, who will take the fall this time? More specifically, which strong Black woman will take the fall for the rest of us? We have certainly rounded up a tough bunch for you today. Our contestants, our white contestants, are Shannon, who studied marketing at Mediocre State, passing with mediocre colors, and Kelly, who works at Chick-fil-A. She likes to make TikTok videos, singing along to Ty Dolla $ign in her free time. Now, the way this all works is our contestants will spin the wheel of fall fortune. And depending on where the wheel stops, our contestants could win a fortune based on how our Africans take the fall. Now, there are many types of falls on this wheel. There's a fall off a chair, fall off a cliff, a fall down the stairs, and there's even metaphorical falls, such as a fall from grace, a credit score drop, a decline on a home loan, or the infant mortality rate. For falls such as these, our contestants could win a home in the suburbs, private education for their children, or even a trip to Cabo. Now, let's have a look at our Africans. Tamika just graduated from an HBCU, and oi, she looks quite sturdy. Brianna is raising 5 kids all alone, but she still made it here today. Now remember, our hopes and dreams depend on you. This isn't just about you, Tamika. Last week's fall was a doozy. 6 Africans allowed themselves to be chained together and thrown into the ocean, thus making the ultimate sacrifice. How brave. And for that, last week's winner won a seat in the Oval Office and free golf lessons. That's that. That was part 1 of the fall. Part 2. I want to watch melancholia as the results come in on election night. I don't want to treat myself well. I want to see my doom on as many screens as possible. I want to watch Charlotte Gainsbourg sip wine as the Earth's atmosphere, some say the heavens. I want to watch the heavens fold in on Charlotte Gainsbourg. I want to check my notifications. I want to see my likes flash before my eyes. I want to hear Kirsten Dunst yell out, "Bring it on!" I want to hear God, who is no doubt a black woman, shout back, "Oh, it's already been brought in." And then I'll leave you with this last stray thought I had. Right now, as election day looms, the clock on our country is about to strike midnight, and maybe our carriage turns into a pumpkin. If you're familiar with Cinderella, her carriage turns into a giant pumpkin, and I wonder like why no one ever really thought, or Cinderella never really thought, that perhaps this giant pumpkin was better. Like it could probably feed her whole village. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Rohan.
Yep.
Moving right along, we have Preeti Bongani. Preeti writes, "The ground I am standing on is my past, the one carved out for me by my resilient mother and my aunts. With their love, I am learning to make fire. Please welcome Preeti Bongani."
Thank you so much. And so sad that I can't be in the mission ending this night in tacos, but I'm so glad to be here with all of y'all. And congratulations to all the readers who went before. That was fantastic. This first poem, I definitely leaned into the fall, into my sad girl self. Folks who've seen Fleabag can think of it as a Fleabag poem. Folks who haven't seen Fleabag, this is a heartbreak poem. The hot priest leaves Fleabag for God. Heartbreaks are not made of the night you came 9 times, or the pain echoing in your crack because he fucked you in the asshole. They aren't made of the minutes your lover knows you aren't all there and still wants to spit shine your cynicism with a quote from the Bible. As if a God listens better than a lover. How do we give so much credit to what we cannot see? How faith can be a good sister to sadness. You don't tell him that you miss your mother. Instead, you find his neck to fixate your gaze and grief on. You don't tell him about the year you had a Pavlovian relationship with masturbation. Each time you came, you cried. Then you cried just holding a vibrator. Then at the mere sight of the vibrator sleeping in its velvet bag, its untouched pink bow. No, a heartbreak is too pedestrian a word for the feeling that makes you say no to the camera, meaning say no to the performative world. As in, you are fucking tired of looking for better versions of your mother and father in your men, and your stepmother, how she only sees you as a faceless inheritance. And your father, so often, he calls her by your mother's name. No, you don't say this to your lover. Instead, you stuff all of these scraps of longing into a black fashionable bodysuit and let the world see your best features. How you stand like a working class queen blowing a cigarette against a brick wall. The smoke of your lover leaving sucked tight between your lips. All right. And the second poem that I'll do is called Bubbles and Blue Jays. And it's set in that beautiful area between Cal Academy of Sciences and De Young, that very democratic space which has the amphitheater. Bubbles and Blue Jays. And then it came back to me. As I heard a middle schooler practice his violin under the concrete canopy of the park's amphitheater, it came back to me the Italian phrase dolce far niente, meaning the sweetness of doing nothing. Although the student was not doing nothing. The violin like a prayer pressed between his chin and shoulder, the odd benevolence of our one virus that had perhaps pushed him out of home, alone, taking his lesson online with no audience to applaud except a young dad chasing his daughter chasing bubbles, and how is savoring a toddler tailing bubbles not the mid-morning equivalent of sneaking in a nap? Oh yes. Look how they were all occupied in their business of joy, and I sat with a croissant so buttery I could seduce it. But really, I was just tired of the news, tired of counting the dead, then remembering the dead. I sat with coffee I did not need. I was beyond awake, hallucinating that the eucalyptus was my playful grandfather gone last week. Oh no, gone we knew when he wouldn't even sip soup. What is the feeling that the smell of trees fills one with? That is so much like slowing down our pace wherever we are so Grandpa could catch up. Dear world, I thought, go slow today. Take one person less in your mortal stead. Lend us all an extra hour. Let's make no productive claim of calling it this time a saving. Instead, a stillness of feeling triumphantly useless, like the myriad minutes spent looking through thick branches to spot the singing blue jay, knowing the bird-like happiness will have flown elsewhere before you can trace the exact source of its little fulfilling music. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for listening, y'all.
Thank you so much. And our final reader of the evening, Elizabeth Stix. Elizabeth describes the ground she is standing on. The ground I am standing on is made from the crushed spines of spineless Trump enablers. Please welcome Elizabeth Stix.
Thank you. Thanks, Noah. Thanks, Noah, for creating this community every week, and for your playlists and for your puzzles and your magazine. It's all very great. It helps us get through this quarantine and the shelter in place. So for the fall, I'm going to read something called 2 Kinds of Disaster. It's excerpted from a longer piece called 5 Kinds of Disaster, but we only have 4 minutes. So I'm going to read a piece called 2 Kinds of Disaster. 1, tsunami. She had a setback. She suffered a blow. She had a string of personal misfortunes. There was the toner cartridge, shaken when the plastic tab was already off, her cream silk blouse, her boss's contact lens. That was a mishap. There was the oil running low, so she checked it and she added it, but she left the engine cap off. And the smoke wafted up, but there was no stopping on the bridge. And she didn't know why they said that, but she figured it was so you would not get hit. She read about a guy who pulled over on the bridge when he got rear-ended, and the accident didn't kill him. But another car hit his car, and his car rolled forward and hit him. That threw him over the railing, and he fell into the ocean. So she knew better than to stop. There was the callus remover blade she bought off of QVC that was a smart razor that said it shaved away only calloused skin. It was so smart, it knew to stop at soft skin. It wouldn't cut it. That was an unfortunate accident. There was the blind date that was going so well, a new leaf, a light at the end of the tunnel, so well that she excused herself from her clam linguine and went into the restroom to put her diaphragm in right then and there, no awkward pauses later. She popped the case and lubed the rubber cup's soft rim. She put one foot on the toilet and pinched the bendy sides together, saw it sprawling out of her hand and hit the wall, roll across the tiles and slip beneath the gap under the door into the restaurant, onto the green and yellow carpet. That was a misadventure. That was a regret. 2, amusement park accidents. Fergus was documenting abandoned American structures, gutted cathedrals, bombed out tenements, deserted strip malls. Today, he scaled the fence of Henderson's Ferry Water World, pushed through the juniper brambles and gazed upon the rusted out roller coasters. He snapped a photo with his Nikon. He could almost hear the music playing, smell the cotton candy. He'd seen a documentary about a kind of people, not just one or two, but a whole subculture, who fell in love with objects, real romantic love. And they would want to fuck them, the buildings or vehicles or whatnot. One man loved a roller coaster. He would visit it like it was incarcerated, and he would soothe it and talk to it and rub himself against it. Whatever happened to that guy, Fergus wondered. That kind of love is not sustainable. He took photos of the tilt-a-whirl, the light hitting it perfectly, sparking off it, showing new life and decay in the same instant. The party's over, he thought. Click, click. Abandoned Americana. That's what Americans do. They dream, they build, and then they throw it all away. For no good reason, water from the Mumblewark River trickled in through a pipe to the moat around the waterslide, an oasis that had never dried out. Oddly, and he could not have known this, there was a thriving alligator colony at this abandoned fairyland. Fergus weaved his way down the hot asphalt, camera pressed against his eye, taking in every lost, forgotten, useless, dazzling wonder. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And that is all we have for this evening. I hope somewhere you are cheering wildly because we can't hear you, but we are experiencing your energy. Thank you, Litquake, for having us. Thank you, Greg, for hosting. Thank you to our readers. What a wonderful night. Speedy but impactful. Thank you to our fans or our audience, hopeful future fans. Vote. Thanks. We'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.
That was amazing. Thank you, Noah. Thank you to Racket. Thank you to all our readers. And we hope to see you all live next year. A couple more hours to go if you want to join some more events online. That was great. Thank you, Noah. Thank you, readers, one more time.
Yep. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.